Hello and welcome to this video. In this video, I'm going to be talking about failing, right? Probably one of the biggest things in the entrepreneurial journey is failing. Okay. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Christian. I've built my own company with my business partner Miguel, where we help coaches, consultants, trainers excel at client acquisition, right? We have this belief that if you're a trainer, someone who signed up to help someone else, you should not be worrying about finding that someone, right? And that's what we help you do, right? We help you find that someone in an easy, predictable, and reliable way. All right, enough about that. Let's jump right into this freaking value. Now, one of the things that I've learned as an entrepreneur and doing this business building for a long time is that when you fail, you learn, right? You learn a lot if you accept it. Let me get back to that. But let's start off at the failing part. In school, like when we were kids, right, we were always taught and we were always told that failing is unacceptable. If you fail, you're gonna get beaten, you're gonna get shown off to the crowds, right? Failing was simply not an option in school. I mean, that's how it was for me. It was always focused on getting good grades, not asking stupid questions, right? Because, I mean, do you remember in class, did you ever put your hand up to say something if you didn't know it was correct? Sure, some were, but mostly right. If you put your hand up, it's because you know for a fact that thing is right. And then those occasion times where you put your hand up, you thought you knew the answer, but you didn't. You're probably never gonna put your hand up for like another 2 weeks because you got so embarrassed that you said the wrong thing, right? There's this huge anxiety and phobia for actually failing, right? Just making a mistake, even though it's such a fundamental part of being human and being who we are. A lot of people fail really, really often because failing usually is, well, failing is, it hurts a bit, right? Because our emotions say that if you fail, you're doing something wrong. If you're doing something wrong, you're gonna get punished. You're gonna get People are gonna be mad at you. And if people are mad at you, well, you're not gonna have a fun time because nobody wants people yelling at you, nobody wants people scolding you, right? So we try to avoid it as much as possible and only do things when we're wrong, otherwise we become timid and we don't do anything. Now, of course, this is not the case for everybody, but for the majority it is. And these are formed like this stupid idea of failing is a bad thing is formed from us being children. Also, if we did something bad when we were kids, right? Something we maybe broke something or we I don't know, we painted on the wall as we were children, like our parents got really fucking mad because they saying, "Oh, that's unacceptable, now I'm gonna clean it, blah 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 blah." We got really, really mad and we were, I mean, you're an innocent little child and you were just like, "Oh, what did I do? What did I do?" And just the parent, someone that you find is a really big authority figure for you, became really mad at you because you did something that you really didn't know you shouldn't be doing. And you just like got this fear of people scolding you and telling you no. I mean, I don't. Not all people have this, but you know that's something that I struggled a lot with. I hated people getting mad. I don't hate it. I was afraid of it. Right? Like it. I was so scared of someone yelling at me, someone saying I did something wrong, that I never dared to do anything because I always felt like if I failed, I'm just gonna be such a someone that people just, oh my god, what's that guy? Oh my, and I couldn't take it, right. That's something that I had to learn. It took me a long time to learn that and overcome that belief because it was so ingrained in me. And I know that there's a lot of people doing this, right? And I'm an entrepreneur. Like, as an entrepreneur, your growth is failing, right? As hard as that is, the biggest growth you can get as any entrepreneur is one that fails all the goddamn time. Now, sure, you can get a mentor that can teach you a lot of fun things that where you can avoid mistakes, but the real way that you learn not to do shit is if you fail and experience the pain yourself of failing and learning that, okay, I got in a worse situation because I did this. Now I'm not gonna do it again. I mean, that sticks. And I mean, our journey, me and my business partner, Miguel's journey has not been flawless. It's been up and down. I mean, thrown out of apartment, not being able to pay rent, all the good stuff. I mean, we've been there as well. We have had times where we could spend thousands of dollars a month on fun because we had the money to do it. And there has been months where we had to eat pasta for 4 weeks straight and oatmeal for breakfast, 2 meals a day, 1 kilo of pasta, half a kilo of oatmeal every single day because we couldn't afford anything else. Right, and that's the thing. You get to be in different situations, in life situations where you're up, in situations where you're down, and none of them are fun. You have to understand, none of where you're down is not fun. But usually, what happens when you're down and you're in a struggle is where you learn the most. Right, that's where you really start fighting. Because you made so many mistakes to get there. You know, okay, I'm not gonna get here again. I'm not gonna do all these things. Right, and you learn. And then you're up and you're good and you become careless, you become comfortable, then you slack and don't do shit, right? I think one of the worst times for me and Mikkel was because, like, right when we started out, we had a point where, like, we really fucked up bad. It was going really great, and then our whole business just died over the course of a couple of weeks. And we both dropped out of school for that thing. We were just so emotionally invested, basically killed us both, and we lost a lot of motivation. We had a really hard time. And it took some time to get back on the horse, but we knew that we could either just give up, stop, not try anymore, or we could say, yeah, it didn't work this time, didn't go quite as we planned, and we sacrificed a lot for this and maybe wasted our time, but we learned that we didn't. Like, we learned. We'll learn from failing that business that, well, what we should to not fail again. And we were close to giving up and just stopping completely because we lost kind of a motivation because just what we worked for didn't work and it was just a bad situation. But the thing is, in that situation, we realized that if we wanted to continue, we had to make a choice. Are we going back to like school and that shit? No, fuck no, bro. And we started, doing shit again. Now it wasn't instant. It took some time for us to get in gear. Too long, in my opinion. But we also, the way that we restructured it later on, a little bit different. So one key thing that we learned is that we could not, going from nothing, not really being that active, to going into a full schedule, 7 days a week, full on workout. We could do that, sustain that for 2-3 weeks, and then we just completely crashed. Right, for like another 3 weeks where it really didn't get shit done. So what we've done is that the way that we worked, or the way that we fixed that problem, is just doing a more easy schedule where Monday through Friday, I mean, that's the one we do all the shit work. But we keep because we like really intensely work, but then we have like a pause break in between, and then Saturday, which it is today, we get all of our filming inbound, all of the nitty gritty things done, and then Sunday is completely off. We do whatever the fuck we want to, like no hands off, and that works really well for us because we found out that to sustain the hard work and get that shit done, we needed the break, right? Now, of course, we have an insane schedule. If we really gotta be busy, we have the schedule where we sleep 4 hours a day. We can sustain this for a week, right? If we really, really need to get something done, like we have the schedule that we jump into, we sleep 4 hours a day for a week, and we just get so much shit done. Like we say, fuck training, fuck food, and just completely in on work. It's really, really effective when it happens because we can get a whole lot done, but it takes a lot of us, and like we crash for a week afterwards, but we get a lot of things done. It's only like in really necessary situations. But the thing is, when you're in a situation where you're working that much and sacrificing that much just to get the work done, I mean, there's an effect. And me and Megan, we're not machines. Not yet. We're not robots. We're working to a stage where we become better, but we're still in a stage of adapting and learning and growing, right? And we learned that for us, that wasn't instant. Changing our behaviors so significantly overnight, we couldn't. We tried, but we failed multiple times. So we decided to try another approach. We approach it more slowly. We learned, right? We failed so many times that we learned that that's not the way to do it, right? And of course, there was some delusion in it as well, and some weakness also. But the thing that we like treasured, or the thing that we learned a lot, was just failing is not such a bad thing, because when you fail, you get to see why, right? You can pretty distinctly see why it is that you failed. Like, what actions did you take to get you into this position that you're in right now? And what can you do to not get into that position again? And that's really what you gotta look for. That's really what you need to start to learn, right? Because yeah, if you fail and don't do anything about it, repeat the same mistakes, then it's stupid, right? So when you fail at something, like, sit down for a minute and think, why did I end up in this situation? Why did I do such a thing to get me to where I am right now? And what were the actions that caused me to get in this shitty situation? And now reflect on it, right? Not just say, oh, happens, right? You're just going to repeat the same mistakes. No, think of why and make sure you do not repeat the same mistakes. As soon as you repeat those mistakes, you wasted your time. That's stupidity, right? If you don't learn from your mistakes, you're just going to fail so badly. Because you need to also learn from what it is you're doing. If you don't learn, you're just standing still. Now, failing is a great opportunity to learn, but if you stay down, you're going to get fucked. Right? There's this quote, I think it's Rocky or something, right? The world will hit you hard. Like, it will hit you like a train crash, man. And there's nothing you can do about it. Like, the world will give you shit. A lot of it too. Now you have a choice. Are you going to stay down? Are you going to take that shit and just stay down, the shit on you? Or are you going to get back up and try again, try harder, fight for your cause, fight for what you are, fight for your beliefs, fight for where you want to go? Right? That's your choice. That shouldn't be determined by anyone else. That's your choice. After you fail, you have a choice. Are you going to stay down or are you going to fight? Right? If you stay down, you lose. And that's pathetic. Then you shouldn't have started in the first place if you can't even finish. Right? Now, of course, you might need a break here and there. But you should never stop. As soon as you stop, you fail. And that's weakness. Right? That might not be fun to learn. I'm also saying this for myself. Right? In a situation where you can see, okay, I can either lay down and get beaten, or I can fucking stand up and fight back with all that I have. You have a choice. No matter what anyone does to you, no one can remove that choice from you. No one. Because that's something you own. That's the right to choose what you do. Right? And there's this, what's it called? I think it's Viktor Frankl or something. It's a book about a guy who lived at a slave camp, and a lot of the other people in there, right? A lot of the people in the slave camp, and I think it's called Viktor Frankl. I don't want to get it wrong, but it's this slave, right? And he was in a slave camp on the World War II, and he was just like, he said, what I remember from this, right? He said that the optimists die first, the ones who hope for shit, the ones who think that they're going to be safe the next day, those are the ones who die first. And he never accepted himself as a victim, right, of the Holocaust, I think it was. He never accepted himself as a victim, right? Because as soon as he said, oh, it's their fault, he would lose, right? But he survived, like, one of the things that closest to hell on earth, because he had the choice, right? He chose not to suffer. No, he chose not to let that suffering control him, right? He had the power to see that suffering right there was a choice that he could make. Either he could, like, be obedient, get beaten down, lose all hope. No, he chose to fight it because he had the choice. Right? I know that's a pretty extreme example, but sometimes extremes are a bit good, right? And especially comes to the work. If you can't do the work, there will be times. I mean, I have times where I haven't done shit. Even when I really should have, I haven't done shit, right? And you get a bad feeling about yourself. You start to guilt trip, and it just spirals downwards. Now, what you find is that you have to get back on the horse, right? If you just stay down, you're gonna fail. You have to get back up. You have to start again, and you have to keep fighting. Fight for what you believe in. Fight for the cause, right? Fight for what you want to achieve. Right? Otherwise, you're just gonna have a life of failure, a life of misery, being a place you don't really want to be in, and don't think that's where you want to be. Right? So yeah, really important subject. Okay, so think about like when was the last time that you failed, like really horribly in something, and think, okay, why did I get there? What made me fail? What happens when I fail like that? What can I do to not fail like that again? Reflect on that situation. That's your job now. Because you have failed. And if you can admit it, you're proud. And that's where you're failing. You're failing to see. If you're not aware if you're failing, you're also blind. If you're blind, you can't really improve since you don't know what there is to improve. And you can become delusional. So that's your first flaw, not being able to see if you can't see. And then once you've learned that, start to see what you're doing wrong, what you can do better, and all this. Okay? All right. I don't want to babble on anymore. If you're anyone interested in, if you're a coach, consultant, or trainer interested in client acquisition and automating your client acquisition, getting to help the people that you signed up to help, there's a link in the description. Full transparency, sales funnel, just to get you to like buy our thing. Interested? Have a look. Not interested? Don't have a look. All right. Have a great day. Bye.